The member for Elder.
My question is for the Minister for Education. Can the Minister update the House on how the Marshall government is backing businesses through the school and preschool building design program?
The Minister for Education.
I thank the member for Elder for the question, and it's a really important question. It's one that identifies, I think, two outstanding outcomes of some of the programs we announced in last year's budget, and indeed earlier than that, particularly in relation to maintenance grants for schools and preschools throughout South Australia. Members may recall we have an annual project of what's called minor works in the Education Department. It's a substantial figure. It's been in that $10 to $15 million range for many, many years. Last year, we had an extra $25 million we injected into supporting school and preschool maintenance programs right at the beginning of the year. And then in addition to that, we provided $20,000 grants, I should say, to every preschool in the government system in South Australia. But that $25 million that was injected over and above the usual maintenance program did some very important things. There has been a substantial backlog right across South Australia's public schools for many, many years in those maintenance projects that are urgent in many cases, important certainly, and identified by the facilities managers at those schools requiring asset upgrades. Further than that, having been approved by the Infrastructure Wing Division within the Education Department. But yet there was not enough money for all of them. A backlog of $25 million worth was addressed last year. In the member for Elders electorate, for example, that includes schools like Clapham Primary School, Westbourne Park Primary School. I was talking to the principal of Clapham Primary School earlier, Jodie Kingham. The roof replacement that's been undertaken there at a cost of $200,000 is a perfect sort of example of why this project was important, because a $200,000 roof replacement is often going to be well and truly above what a school can manage itself within its own maintenance budget, within its res. But with the backlog wipeout, $25 million we invested, that enabled that project to take place. It meant that the rusty corrugated iron roof, which was allowing dripping of rain coming in the winter, which was putting at risk the solar panels, at risk of coming down through the ceiling at Clapham Primary School, that's all now been replaced as of late last year, thanks to this program. Down the road at the Westbourne Park Primary School, also just before Christmas, I was told by Claire de Go, the deputy principal there, that roof was replaced as well. Now, these are outstanding improvements, minor works to be sure in the broader scheme of a $1.3 billion infrastructure project, but critically time-sensitive and important works. And through that $25 million, more than 150 projects around South Australian schools, more than 100 schools were able to benefit from those projects. In the member for Elders seat, in the member for Frome's seat, in the member for Morfett's seat, and the Leader of the Opposition's seat. But from Blythe to Bordertown, from Christie's Beach to Kingscote, right around South Australia, schools have benefited from that program. But wait, there is more. Every single school and preschool has subsequently benefited from the announcement in last year's budget of a further $30,000 grant for every single preschool in South Australia's government system, and grants of between $20,000 and $100,000 for every single school, for them to do further breakdown maintenance or uplifting tasks or ceiling painting or nature play areas or shade structures or kitchen replacements, whatever needs to be done to lift the work at the school. This has done two things that are really important as to get back to the core of the question. First, it's provided an urgent boost of extra work for local small businesses and tradies and suppliers and businesses across the South Australian community. From the AP Wirelands to Mount Gambier and everywhere in between, these works have been undertaken. And secondly, they provide a massive uplift to schools, every single government school and preschool in South Australia, lifting the performance of our system as a whole.